Welcome to 2 Minutes of Gaming, where we talk about the top video game topics of the month for 2 minutes at a time. I'm your host, Keenan, and today I'm joined by
Justin. How's everybody doing?
Everything is good. Kind of cold and rainy out here, but we hanging in there.
Yeah, the temperature dropped over here.
What's that?
New York is about 42 degrees right now.
Oh, yeah, it's starting. It's getting cold now. But great show today. Got a lot to talk about. This is Justin, it's so funny. So much has changed since our last show. We have a new president. We have new systems out. The next gen consoles are now current gen. We got to fix our lingo when we talk about them. So really exciting time. So we'll start with the next gen, which is not next gen, the current gen systems, Xbox Series X or PS5. So just for those who don't know, both Justin and I passed on the launch. But we want to talk about some of our reasons why. And also, Justin, we're going to start out with you. Which system, tell the people about why you passed, and also which system are you leaning towards now? 2 minutes on the clock. Let's set it up.
Well, one reason why I passed on it is because I follow the same rule I've followed since PlayStation 3. Never buy a system the first year until they get all the glitches out, all the tech problems out, and not to mention, usually a year later, they have a slimmer model or they have a more powerful model. And it always has been like that. Nintendo did it with the 3DS, then you got the 3DS Lite and things like that. It's always something that improves the first year, from the first year. So I always wait to get those kinks out. Now, as in regards to what system I'm going to get, I'm a Sony guy. I'm going to stay with Sony, but I might actually get both this year. So but the thing that's keeping me away from the Xbox right now is the game titles. What exclusives, not even just what exclusives, what am I gonna get on the Xbox besides Gears and Halo and the regular and Forza? So what can I get from the Xbox? That's it for now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, but that's the thing, Justin. You mentioned some of the Xbox lack of games. Honestly, PS5 is similar way. I don't know if you saw we're not going to really talk about this too much, but the Capcom leak, there was a huge leak for Capcom, and they said that, the Resident Evil Village may come out, now they're saying possibly April. But Justin, that's the earliest that we've seen any of these games. So for those who don't know, I don't have it. I'm not getting either system for a while till 2021 when I can walk into Best Buy, grab one, and leave. But that being said, there is no games out. We're going to talk about Spider-Man next, but Spider-Man was the one game that I was actually looking forward to playing on PS5. Then I found out it was coming for PS4, so I just bought it there. And you get the PS5 version free, which we'll, again, talk about later. But Demon's Souls is another game that looks great for the system. But Justin, besides that, there's just not enough on either system. I heard the Xbox Series X didn't even update the UI. It's
no,
the
they didn't.
UI, which is horrible. So in the PS5, I'm not even too big on that UI, speaking of UI. So I'm just not sold on these systems yet. I think it's too early. And then, again, we're still getting a lot of messages and rumors about breaking systems. And I'm hearing now PS5 just has a general glitch when it comes to the rest mode in general as breaking the system. So, again, I'll wait. Patience is a virtue. Speaking of Spider-Man, like we talked about a little bit, Justin, you actually sacrificed a lot for the show. You actually not only got the game early, but you beat the game
and reviewed it.
For Talkers and Geeks, which I want you to talk about. But not only that, Justin, I want you to tell the people for those who haven't seen the review, should they buy this? Should they pass? Or should they maybe wait for a sale? What's your thoughts, Justin, after beating the game?
Like I said in my review, if you're a diehard Spider-Man fan, buy it. But if you're just a casual person who's just like, hey, this looks like a cool game, I would definitely wait for a sale. The game is short. I mean, don't get me wrong, the game is short. The game is short, but it has a nice story. They definitely improved on the gameplay mechanics. They really make you feel like Miles is his own Spider-Man with different move sets, different powers, just like in the comic book. So comic book fans, I would say go get it right now. But everybody else, wait for the sale because it really does feel like this could have just been added in its own section to Marvel Spider-Man and just kind of make it feel like it was a game for service, which we get into down the line later on with another Marvel game. But yeah, I will definitely say wait for the sale, but it's still fun. And one thing I did want to say is that I love the fact that once I purchased it for the PS4, they also gave me the PS5 version. So once I get my PS5 version, I'm definitely going to see definitely different graphics and different frame rates. There are little frame rate issues that I encountered, but you can head over to TakusGeeks.com for my full review.
Yeah, I second the frame rate issues as well for the PS4, but I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, Justin. I think this is a strong buy, and why? Because it's already discounted. It's $50. You know, it's already a discounted game. Going in, you have to understand that it's going to be a smaller game, and I haven't finished it like you, Justin, but I can feel the side stories and stuff. It feels way smaller than the original Spider-Man, and it feels way less epic as well. But again, it's still a great game. The reason why I love it, Justin, so much is that for black and brown kids in the hood, especially in New York, this is a hero for them. I mean, when I first turned the game on, Justin, first of all, the music is amazing.
Yes, it is.
I was jealous of the music because I was like, man, my game doesn't have music that's this good. But then also, you see Spider-Man Miles Morales walking around with Tim's, you know, going to the corner bodega. These are things that we grew up in the hood. These are things that we did. So for me, this is bigger than the game. This is like the first black and brown hero in a AAA experience. So again, I know it's a smaller game, but it's still a AAA experience. But then lastly, I want to say as well, as a developer, I think that developers need to do this more. They spend so much money on creating this whole world, this whole New York, all these assets, and then people want us to just throw it out for the sequel. You know what I mean? Why not still use those assets and make money, which we'll talk about with Avengers later, but make a profitable game that's discounted. So I love this move. Again, you can't wait, but I just think for me it was important to support this game and this project. So many reasons. Mass Effect is back.
Yes.
They just announced a Mass Effect trilogy coming out for current gen and last gen PS4, Xbox One X, and PC as well. So it's just coming everywhere but the Switch. We haven't heard anything about the Switch yet. But then also with the trailer, they also announced verbally that they're working on a new Mass Effect. Didn't give many details, but working on a new Mass Effect as well. So Justin, what's your thoughts on the new Mass Effect and the trilogy re-release? What's your thoughts?
I never had an Xbox, so I never got to experience Mass Effect. I did get Mass Effect 1 on Steam, but unfortunately for some reason my Moga controller is not compatible with it. So I said, okay, I'm just going to wait to see one day if they remaster and everything else. And now it's finally here. I just hope that it comes for the Switch because I have my Switch Lite. So I would love to just take all that and that great story on the road. And this is BioWare back in its glory days. I would love to see just a return. I'm hoping BioWare is actually in charge of this next one. But, you know, Anthem left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths and, you know, left them a little sore with BioWare. So BioWare definitely needs a hit. So I would definitely like to see them come back to their glory days and go back to one of the popular titles that made them who they are. And heck, I will just throw this out there. I would like to see another Knights of the Old Republic for us Star Wars fans as well.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother topic for another show. But nonetheless, I'm excited about this, man, because I'm super late to the franchise. I actually had an Xbox 360 and ignored the Mass Effect. When it comes to aliens, just, you know, I'm more of a like Alien and Aliens from Ridley Scott and James Cameron. I like aliens that like kill you, you know? I don't want to like talk to aliens. That's not me, right? But Andromeda, I fell in love with it because I wanted to explore space and I wanted to have like really good graphics and special effects while I'm doing this. You know what I mean? And no offense to Mass Effect 1, but at the time I really wasn't too impressed with the graphics. And again, I wanted to see, you know, like exploring space and all this stuff. So I fell in love with Mass Effect Andromeda. I know that's like the worst of the series. So I'm actually excited to go back and play the other three with somewhat upgraded graphics and see how much better it is. Because if they're saying that it's so much better than Andromeda, then great. I'm going to see for myself. But also, before we go, the new Mass Effect, I'm actually really excited about because I think they learned their lesson from Anthem and from Andromeda as well. And I think that they're going to knock it out the park. And I think EA is going to leave them alone. I think they're going to let them do whatever they want, whenever they want, and take as long as they want to perfect this game because why? Their reputation's on the line. And I'm going to talk about reputation in this next topic with Crystal Dynamics and the Avengers. So, Square Enix, the publisher of Marvel Avengers, just came out with their earnings report. It was horrible. And the Avengers, they said, lost approximately $63 million.
Ooh.
Let me give people a second to let that soak in. $63 million loss in the Avengers, and obviously a lot of that went to marketing, licensing, development, etc. Now, Justin, as you know, we talked a little bit about games and service earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on this loss, and do you feel like games and service, is it dead? Should it be dead? What's your thoughts on all of this, Justin?
Games and service, I don't think is dead. I think games and service needs to do something like how DLC practically was designed to be. Was just, adding additional content to our already purchased game that keeps it going. This just really everybody knew from the beginning that this was just completely a cash cow. And it's unfortunate because it's one of my favorite companies, Square Enix. So y'all better hurry up on that Final Fantasy VII to recoup that money. So, but yeah, I mean, for me, it was just like, I didn't even buy the game because I knew it was a game for service. And with game for service, it always has a bad taste in my mouth. That means that, first of all, the game launched with so many bugs. And then they was just like, oh, well, it's a game for service. We're going to patch it up. Then they had to patch it up. Then more bugs came. And it's just like, okay, and then the missions that they keep updating is so repetitive. It's not even that. The gameplay is repetitive. So not only you have a mini-core game here, but you also have a game that's just like, it's not that great, but now you add in service, and then you're charging people for it too. So,
Just to give people like an idea, for those who don't know the definition of games of service, I think you can say Zynga probably made it more famous.
Yeah.
Like Farmville. So basically, for those who don't know, you create a game, you create a world, and then you continue to charge things in that world. And the idea with that, Justin, is that works for free games.
Mm-hmm.
And I accept it for free games. But Justin, let me tell you, I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but this made me happy, this news, because this game, it was an insult to gamers. You can't charge full price for a game and then also create like a games for service model. And then on top of that, Justin, if they rush this game out to come out with the movie, I could forgive the glitches. But they rushed it out with nothing, and it still came out horrible. I'm just gonna say this. I did my research before the show on Crystal Dynamics. As you know, I mentioned on the show before, I actually met those guys in San Francisco like 10 years ago, right? Great guys. They put on the talk, great talk, much respect to those guys. But we got to be clear about their development talent here. I looked online. Since 1994, this company has developed 36 or 34 games. Just 36 or 34 games. 2 of them are good. And somebody could say, you know what? They're going to run up on me in real life when I see them again and say that was really mean what you said. I don't care. Y'all made 2 good games out of 36. And those 2, Justin, of course, are Tomb Raider. In the last Tomb Raider, they half-assed, glitches everywhere, rushed through it, finished the story. They didn't even want to, you can play it and you'll feel they didn't even want to make this game. You know what I mean? It was like a little kid who's doing homework and he doesn't want to do it. And his mom was like, you got to do this homework. And he's doing it and he just half-asses it so he can go play video games. That's what they did with Tomb Raider. And now you're going to come back with a half-assed Avengers game? Crystal Dynamics, the developer, why would you trust them with 100, I'm guessing I think they said it was 170 million or whatever. Why would you trust them with $150 million for development? They're not proven yet. I'm sorry. I know it sounds crazy. They made 2 classic Tomb Raider games. I agree. But this development team, they did not deliver. This was a horrible idea. And not only was it a horrible idea, it was executed poorly. So I felt so happy when they lost money because this is a garbage game. Next topic.
That's how you really feel.
That was my last. I think I have another rant for later. That's
yeah.
I was supposed to be my rant. Anyway, great news. I'm actually really excited about this news, Justin. You text me this. Was like super happy to see it. AEW has not one, not two, but 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Now again, 2 of them are mobile games, but we just want to more focus on the big console game. They showed a mini trailer. Justin, what was your thoughts on the whole presentation and also the games as well?
First of all, shout out to Kenny Omega for that Steve Jobs performance. That was awesome. So Kenny Omega, Britt Baker, Audrey, and Cody Rhodes. That was awesome. As far as the game, I'm happy that it's coming. Not happy with the way that bodies are designed. I felt that it looked a little bit arcadey, but they said they want to go for that No Mercy feel. And if those who never played No Mercy has a little bit exaggeration of body dimensions where the guys are a little bit more buffer than usual, or at least wider than usual. And of course, you can see that they're going to include intergender matches with Shida versus Omega, as you saw in the clip. So I'm really excited for it because the director of No Mercy is heading this game. So what I'm hoping for is that we get a game that's similar to No Mercy and Day of Reckoning 2, the greatest wrestling game of all time. And we get those 2 games, those 2 mechanics, and we get a solid AEW experience. And plus, we're going to have JR back.
I'm sorry, no, listen, we know the announce team is going to be amazing. I'm super excited for this game. The one thing that killed me, the presentation was great, but when Kenny Omega said he wanted more of an NBA Jam style game, that kind of hurt my heart. Graphics aren't the best, but I'm okay with that because, again, I'm thinking they're using those bigger bodies for like bigger hit frames, and that's probably what so for those who don't know, they got the No Mercy director, I think it was the director, producer.
Yeah, director.
And he's collaborating with Ukes. So I think that's a great combination for our development team. I'm gonna keep my eye on this one, Justin. I'm not gonna fully go in yet. Because again, I'm not big on the arcadey style, but what I think Kenny Omega, I'm hoping what he was trying to say was that he just wants to make it a fun game. You know what I mean? Just everyone just enjoy themselves, have fun. And to be honest, I love AEW so much. I'll probably get it.
I'm gonna get it too. And the General Manager game, real quick, looks good as well. I like it. I'm gonna check that out for the mobile. Yeah. Because everybody's been asking for a GM mode, and 2K never gave us a GM mode for the WWE 2K series. So AEW's like, okay, you know what? We'll just put it on the mobile phone, and you guys can do it that way. I was like, all right, that works.
Yeah. Last round, for those who don't know, new to the show, our last round is a freestyle round. So we open up the floor, and you guys, we can talk about anything. So Justin, what's on your mind? What you want to rant on today? Not rant. Let's talk about.
Well, not rant, but I just gotta give a shout out to certain games, man. I'm not sure if I talked about Visage. Yeah, I did talk about Visage, but I just want to say I'm almost done with that game. That is just a great horror game. Please pick that horror game up. It is a hell of an experience. Just some recommendations. Miles Morales. I'm playing No More Heroes right now on the Nintendo Switch. Definitely going to pick up the Mario collection finally next week. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm actually just looking forward to see what's going to be on sale for Black Friday and Cyber Monday game-wise. I'm hoping for a big explosion on Japanese games, Japanese type of titles. And I just want to I want to talk really, really quickly about Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because something's just been bothering me, and I know I probably said this before, but these guys are sitting on IP. I'm playing like some of their games on the Super Nintendo on the Switch, and I'm just like, why haven't we got new editions of some of these games? Like, where's our new Donkey Kong? Where's our new Kirby? Where's our Star Fox? Where's Metroid? Where's Kid Icarus? They're all in Smash Brothers. But where are their individual games? Like, really, enough already. Like, you're sitting on IPs. Why? That's it.
Yeah, no, totally agree. It's so funny, Justin. We were talking about stocks off the air, and Nintendo stock went up after they reported triple the amount of earnings than expected, which was great. And then the stock went down. And then I said to myself, you know what? Do I want to invest in? Because I told you I bought Sony stock. And I said, do I want to invest in Nintendo? And I said, you know what? No, because they do stupid stuff like that. They could do that. They could be worth double the price if they would have, like I said, was more of a machine and popping out these games at least on some kind of frequent basis. But that's not the case. But my last little rant real quick before we go. For those who don't know, Sega just sold off, I think it was 85% of the arcade business in Japan. They're hurting for money. I'm hearing not only are they laying off employees in Japan, but also they're forcing longtime employees to retire. Kind of like nudging them to voluntarily retire before we fire you, basically. So you can, retire and get the bonuses and all that stuff. So anyway, this hurts my heart because for those who watched the show before, understand Sega's it's my biggest inspiration. They're the reason why I wanted to make video games and my favorite company of all time. And if anybody understands, I understand the IP that they hold, but I think I'm the only person that understands the IP that they hold and the power of it. And the longer they wait and they sit and they have this IP sit, similar to what Justin was saying, the harder it's going to be for these games to start to sell more and more and more. We saw what happened with Streets of Rage 4. Sega probably thought that was dead. There is about 20-year gap almost, 25-year gap between Part 3 and Part 4. And Part 4 knocked it out the park. So it just shows you that Sega still has a lot of strength in their IP. Anyway, I'm saying all of that to say they're blaming COVID on the financial troubles, which is bull. Because again, back to stocks. If you look at the stocks of EA, even Square, Take-Two, any publicly traded video game company, Sony, the stocks have skyrocketed during COVID because people are playing more video games and they're staying home. Mm-hmm. So all that being said, Sega, they're just full of excuses. For some reason, they rather sit on a Sega Dreamcast collection. They rather sit on any Sega Saturn collection or any Sega Saturn games. They rather not even sell those anymore. They rather just make Genesis, the same Genesis collections, over and over and over.
Well, let's not forget about Game Gear Mini.
And then, we ranted about that garbage, Game Gear Mini. But even Justin, even a game like Eternal Champions, which is a cult classic, they only have that, correct me if I'm wrong, 1 or 2 Genesis collections, which is ridiculous. And I don't have it because I don't have the Switch. That's not on the Switch one, so I don't have that collection. So that being said, this company is poorly run. I wish that I was, again, part of the board. I wish I was the biggest shareholder. That Sega Sammy stock is garbage, so that's another story. But I wish I was on the board because I would go to every board meeting screaming at everyone because it is unacceptable that you're hurting for money, but you refuse to sell products. You're a video game company that refuses to sell video games. Justin, where's the new Sonic?
Well, Sonic Mania was the latest one, but that was it.
That was developed by a fan, right?
Yeah, and they hired him to do it.
Come on.
So I mean, like I agree with you with this because like I said with Nintendo, that's where my frustration comes with Nintendo. Nintendo was the first system I had, So it's just like you see these. I'm not sure, maybe it's legal reasons, but I mean, if you own the IP of these characters and things like that, it's not like. I mean, I get it if they can't release Power Stone because that was developed by Capcom and things like that. That's understandable. But your in-house stuff that you guys developed, I mean, if there's one thing everybody's been clamoring for was Dreamcast games. There was even a point during the PlayStation, I think you remember this, PlayStation 3 in the Xbox 360 era when they were re-releasing Dreamcast games to the online stores. We got Sonic. We got Crazy Taxi.
Background Radio.
And then it just stopped. Mm-hmm. And then we finally, then it took for them to get to the PS4. We finally got Shenmue 1 and 2, but that's only because 3 was coming. They knew 3 was on the way. Right. But it was just like, okay, so where's the other stuff? Like, you're sitting on things, and like, not to go back to that Game Gear Mini. Game Gear wasn't that good. Mm-hmm. Why would you waste your time manufacturing a small? It's so tiny.
I just want to say I'm just going off the dome. I was actually going to make a list, but I'm going to do that. I'm just going to say Alter Beast, Golden Axe, another Streets of Rage, Echo the Dolphin, Vector Man, Let's go Sega Saturn. Oh, it's off the dome. Virtue Cop. Virtue Fighter. Daytona. Justin, how much fun do we have playing Daytona every time we go to the arcade?
Yeah.
Where's the new one? Sega Rally. Sega GT. Justin, they made a game called Sega GT. They only released it in the arcades, never brought it to a console. Who does that? I'm Knights, Guardian Heroes, Shining Force, 1, 2, and 3. Where's number 4?
Yep.
They released
Shinobi, right?
Shinobi. We can keep going. Justin, they released Shining Force 1, Part 3, Scenario 1 in Japan. They made 2 other scenarios, in America. They made 2 other scenarios only for Japan. Just bring them to America. I'll buy them. Where's my credit card? I have my credit card on me. Sega, I'll give you my credit card. Okay, I'm done. Show's over. I'm done. All right.
Well, that was Keenan's rant, but I'm gonna say my last words before we get. I'm gonna cool Keenan down, folks. Once off the air.
Done.
But this has been 2 minutes of gaming. Don't forget, please. Like, share, and subscribe if you like what we do here. And definitely, since this is YouTube, hit that notification bell. A lot of you guys tell me that you wasn't informed that the new episodes was coming out. So please make sure after you subscribe to hit that notification bell. Make sure you have the settings there. Definitely check out Cybe Gaming. You can follow Keenan Cybe Gaming at Cybe Gaming on Instagram, Facebook, and of course cybegaming.com. You can follow me at Tacos and Geeks. That's tacosandgeeks.com to see the Miles Morales review. And soon coming is the Imaginative Visions, which my hoodie is about with all my characters. Not sure if you can see it, but yeah, you can see it right there. So this is Justin saying, later days we're going to cool Keenan down, folks.
Peace. I'm out.